If we have municipal law enforcement patrolling the interstates, as Highway Patrol presently does, then we do not have the men and women in uniform patrolling our communities. And that invites reckless and criminal behavior across our communities, and we can't afford that.
In tonight's Big Story Breakdown, we are digging into law enforcement resources. This comes as Oklahoma Highway Patrol plans to pull resources from the OKC and Tulsa metro areas.
The agency first announced its realignment plan July 3rd. According to OHP, the plan would allow them to adapt to the evolving needs of the state by shifting resources to interstates and highways with a significant volume of traffic covered by a smaller law enforcement footprint. OHP said Oklahoma City, Edmond, Moore, Norman, Midwest City, and Del City, also Tulsa law enforcement agencies would be responsible for interstates within their boundaries. The change was scheduled to take effect November 1st. However, the Attorney General says OHP's plan is illegal. Attorney General Gettner Drummond issued a formal opinion yesterday following a request from Oklahoma City State Senator Mark Mann. During a press conference, Drummond said the move would put Oklahomans at risk.
Even aside from its unlawfulness, such a move would have a profound and adverse effect on public safety. Public safety is not an either-or proposition. It responds to and investigates thousands of collisions along Interstate 35, 40, 44, and 244. But the work of our troopers doesn't end there. They also respond to incidences of road rage and criminal activity, motorist assists, clearing of debris from roadways, and more. County and local law enforcement would be severely impacted in man hours, special training, and associated costs, but the citizens will be the ones who ultimately pay the price.
Drummond said he has no doubt rural Oklahoma needs additional resources along highways, but the law is unambiguous.
Two sheriffs from rural parts of the state are calling the Attorney General's opinion disappointing. Fox 25's Paige Taylor spoke with them about the challenges their deputies are facing and how having more troopers in their areas would help.
A plan to shift state troopers from the Oklahoma City and Tulsa areas to more rural areas halted after an opinion from the AG says OHP is legally bound to continue serving metro areas.
The Oklahoma Highway Patrol cannot make the arbitrary decision to foist its responsibility onto the municipal and county law enforcement of Oklahoma and Tulsa counties.
OHP responded in a statement saying, in part, OHP has not and never will abandon or abdicate its role as the primary law enforcement agency in the state. The plan OHP presented simply asked the municipal agencies in the two metro areas to work the car crashes within their city limits the way other municipalities do across the state. The Logan County Sheriff tells me the county has not had a trooper assigned to Logan County as their primary duty station for about 8 years. The Lincoln County Sheriff says he feels assigning troopers to Lincoln County would be a benefit to the county.
The benefit of a trooper assigned to our county would be the waiting time dealing with a vehicle accident. Currently, it could take, 45 minutes plus before one can get here from El Reno or wherever they're going to be at.
The McLean County Sheriff says he hardly ever sees a trooper in his county unless they are responding to an accident.
We'll get an accident down here that might be blocking the interstate or some state highway or something, and we have to sit there and wait till the trooper gets on scene. And with all of them up in Oklahoma City, sometimes that takes a couple of hours.
Paige Taylor, Fox 25 News.
The Oklahoma City FOP president is supporting Drummond's formal opinion, saying this is a resource issue and he will continue to advocate for more funding across the state.
The gentlemen with me here, who also represent hundreds across the metro area, know what it takes to provide public safety. They stand with our troopers. We work with them middle of the night, middle of the afternoon to try to accomplish public safety for each and every Oklahoman. And we will continue to do that. I will advocate with our chief, and I assume these individuals as well, depending on how this plays out, that who we represent in Oklahoma City and those responsibilities, how this continues to evolve, is taken seriously.
Nelson said he's grateful for the clarity the Attorney General provided, and municipal police officers and county deputies will continue to provide public safety to all Oklahomans. Oklahoma City Mayor David Holt also supporting the AG's decision and that he has great sympathy for Commissioner Tim Tipton and the challenges they're facing, but says we should never abandon any of our residents.
The 2/3 of Oklahomans that live in, vote in, and pay taxes in the Oklahoma City and Tulsa metropolitan areas obviously have already paid for and deserve to receive at least some version of the public safety service that has been offered to all Oklahomans since the Oklahoma Highway Patrol was created in 1937. And today we know officially that this is more than just a platitude. It is a statement that holds the force of law.
The mayor said we cannot completely leave people, taxpayers, and voters based simply on where they live, even if we're stretched thin in funding.
Public Safety Commissioner Tim Tipton explained to us the reasoning behind OHP allocating their services outside of the metro, saying there aren't enough troopers to respond to calls on the interstate outside of the metro areas.
It's critical for us to provide a public safety footprint that gives those citizens and traveling motorists through our state the ability to know that there's going to be a response in a timely manner to their incident that's going on the interstate system.
Tipton said OHP would still assist other agencies as needed, and troopers would still patrol turnpikes and in construction zones if they are contracted to do so. The Norman Police Department introducing a new resource. Typically, K-9 officers help sniff out drugs, but Norman is now utilizing one that helps detect electronic devices.
Fox 25's Grant Palmer joins us live in studio. Grant, you got to tell us more about this.
Well, Adam and Wendy, the dog's name is Murphy. She's a 2-year-old black lab, and her handler says she'll play a crucial role in not only detecting devices that might be missed in searches, but also helping when it comes to crimes against children. Canines are typically sniffing out drugs that officers aren't able to smell with their own noses, but Murphy with the Norman Police Department is tasked with a different kind of job, sniffing out cell phones, hard drives, laptops, and anything electronic.
Murphy is trained in smelling TPPO. It's the chemical compound that coats all of the chips used in each of the devices. That chemical keeps those chips from overheating. Murphy will play a big part in finding electronics that are used in some of the most heinous crimes. We are primarily going to utilize her in ICAT cases, so crimes against children, child exploitation, anything like that. In her 3 weeks on the job, Murphy has already been put to work, recently playing a part in the arrest of a Blanchard man who is possessing child sexual abuse material. But Keefe says Murphy won't only be used for those kinds of cases. She can be used in any type of case. All of our cases now touch digital media, so any big case, homicides, anything like that, typically there is a digital element to it. And so if she's needed for a device that's been hidden, we can still utilize her for that. Keefe took Murphy on a trial run for us, and the Murph mutt passed with flying colors, finding the hidden phones easily. I tried talking to her about her new role, but she seemed too locked in for interviews.
Now, how do you feel about the important work that you're doing, Murphy? Murphy is one of 6 police dogs like her in Oklahoma and is the first electronic detection canine in the Oklahoma City Metro. Reporting in studio, Grant Palmer, Fox 25 News.
Resources can be limited for law enforcement agencies when it comes to keeping track of some people on the sex offender registry.
Yeah, statewide, over 700 people on the list are registered as transient or homeless. Fox 25's Lauren Henry spoke with several agencies about the challenges this brings.
He loads his car up every night, goes to the gas station, sleeps, and is back home. So all daylight hours, he's at home.
Amanda LaRue is a local parent who says she's seen a sex offender in her neighborhood who she believes is bending the state's current sex offender registration laws.
That's how he's skirting this law of being a transient and not having this permanent address, is because his overnights are spent somewhere else.
LaRue says she made multiple reports and was able to get a response from the Owasso Police Department. Due to an ongoing investigation with the Tulsa County Sheriff's Office, we are not naming the offender in question.
This case was brought to us by people that lived in the area who said that they were concerned because they thought that a sex offender was living or residing inside the hot zone in that particular neighborhood. Hot zone meaning where sex offenders cannot live because of their proximity to either a school or a park or a playground or whatever it may be.
Lieutenant Boatman explained that the convicted sex offender pled guilty to failure to register with the city of Owasso earlier this year.
Whenever you move inside the municipality of Owasso, you have to register with us if you are a sex offender. That failed to happen in this case. He was still registered through the Tulsa County Sheriff's Office as a transient. So the fact that he owned a home here, whether he was staying there or not, I mean, that's part of the issue.
Although LaRue's concerns seem to be getting addressed, we asked the Tulsa County District Attorney's Office if other sex offenders could take advantage of the option to register as transient if they were living somewhere else.
The way the law is written is you have to reside in the place that you're registering. So in a scenario where you're residing in one place but go spend time in another place, you are technically not violating the statute as it's written.
Oklahoma's current legislation requires that if an individual is unable to provide a permanent address, they must report to law enforcement every 7 days. We sat down with the Tulsa Police Department to learn more about how sex offenders register as transient with the city of Tulsa.
When they register as transient, they can't just come in and say, I'm just homeless. They actually still have to tell us, generally speaking, where they are living. It still has to be a place where, according to residency restrictions, they are allowed to live. We'll actually print off a Google Map picture of it and say, okay, give us a general idea of where we would find you if you're there. So that way, if we wanted to go and check and make sure that they are actually living there, we have a place to go.
Is there a better way to do this as opposed to putting a map out in front of someone and saying, point to where you're living?
For transients, I don't know that there is. I think there are jurisdictions that I think do it differently than we do. I think there are some jurisdictions that don't even remotely track where they're living, but I don't know that anyone's come up with just a outstanding way to track transients.
This left us wondering, are stronger regulations needed, and what would it look like for the state to better track sex offenders who register as transient but are living in a prohibited location?
That would really be a question for the legislature, because they would have to rework the statute to provide for circumstances like that. There are always going to be people that are trying to skirt the law, people that are purposefully evading law enforcement and purposefully living somewhere where they're not supposed to be living, whether that's that they're registering as transient and living somewhere else or that they're not registering at all.
Despite the current laws, LaRue stands firm that she wants to see change with how the state handles transient sex offenders.
The transient side of all of this, the not being held accountable, the just being able to go wherever you want for 16 to 18 hours a day, that's so unsafe, and I just want to see change.
Lauren Henry, Fox 25 News.
And that was your big story breakdown tonight. You can stay up to date on Oklahoma Highway Patrol's realignment plans on OKCFox.com.
You can also watch our previous big story breakdowns on our YouTube channel. Just scan the QR code on your screen or search OKC Fox.